So 2026, I have a feeling AI slop is going to really take over this year. Like if you thought 2025 was bad, I mean 2026 is looking to be just even worse. Like 2025 is when I believe Sora was released, and I think Google VO3 was also released earlier, if I'm not mistaken. And man, like it completely ruined reels and short content in general, and just overall, like it's just been chaotic, I would say. Like it's so underwhelming and rather, how do I say, disappointing. Like, you know, you will watch a reel on Instagram or a short on YouTube, and you're intrigued for a while you're watching it, and then you just figure out in the middle that this was AI, and suddenly you just realize that you just wasted all your time watching that, and it just doesn't feel good, you know. Everything starts looking fake. But I have a feeling next year, or rather this year, considering when it's being uploaded, it's going to be insane. Like 2026 will probably just be a full-on AI slop takeover. I mean, AI image generation was bad enough, I would say, in the sense that it's convincing now, especially with Google's Nano Banana. Like, it is pretty good. And even GPT's image generation has improved quite a bit. Copilot's image generation is pretty good as well. Like, honestly, I don't know any AI that's really bad at AI generation. Maybe Grok, I guess. But man, like, it's so hard to like discern like what's true, what's not. And yeah, it's just probably just gonna get worse next year. On top of that, we have this RAM shortage going on. It's just crazy. Any of you who was trying to build a PC in, you know, this latest Boxing Week, man, my condolences to you. That must have been so annoying. It's just disgusting how these companies have just decided to disregard all the consumers who have been buying their products for years, some even decades. Why? Because Sam Altman decided he's going to pay them more money, and they're happy to take that. It's just like, come on, man. I don't know. It's not. I mean, I don't want to be doom and gloom all the time. Especially, I think this is like one of the first videos on the channel, but that's just the vibe I'm getting. Normally, we would expect competition to come in place because that's what they call quote unquote capitalism, free market. Putting this in quotations. That, you know, when someone refuses to supply someone else, this is an opening in the market, and another company can take over that portion, right? Except it's not a free market, because we all know anyone who could fill that up really easily would be China. And the US is going to do everything in their power to not allow that, because it's not free market. So we'll just be stuck without RAM, without computer parts, without even GPUs in the future. Who knows? Anything that needs memory is kind of in trouble. And I don't know about the rest of the world, but North America, it does feel like it's not going to work well for us. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, gaming is kind of like a hobby, but it does feel that it might become a luxury, which is just not what gaming is supposed to be. you know. It's never supposed to be a luxury. It's a recreational activity, you know. And it's just beyond gaming too. Sometimes we need GPUs, our own personal computers for our personal projects, you know. That's how we learn, especially engineers. That's how a lot of us learn. Who are studying in schools, you know, who are engineering graduates. All of us have to work hard for this stuff and practice at home for many things. And usually we require powerful PCs to run simulations, and it just might just get worse, man. If you want us to rent computers in the future, like pay it $10 a week or something to get like, I don't know, 40 hours. It's just so dystopian, man. Cyberpunk seems like a utopia compared to this. At least in that universe, or the future as they kind of, you know, predicted, or assumed rather, back in the 80s. They still assumed that we would be able to have our own parts and build our own tech. That's clearly not what's happening. Yeah, it's looking a bit doom and gloom, and it's for using AI for not even like for something useful, like, you know, trying to cure cancer or something. Like, I understand if there's kind of a shortage because they're all in to produce something that would help them cure something that would help people, you know, genuinely save lives. You know, you could kind of make a case, you know, is gaming that important? I mean, yes it is, but is it important in saving a life? But that's not what's being said. People are making stupid cat videos with these things, and the most dumb things on the planet. Like, it's nothing serious, nothing useful. People have built these fake Instagram profiles where they're taking selfies with like random like celebrities who just like on production sets. Like, what is this? Why is this the reason why my RAM is really going high in pricing? Like, that's insane. I don't know, it's just I'm not really, how do I say this? Like, I get why they also want you to produce these videos and stuff, because then they will use that output as data, which is kind of just gonna make the generation worse. And I don't know what that guy was doing, jumping around. Anyways, but yeah, it's just like, there we go. As I was saying, yeah, I mean, they will train on this data, their own AI, and it's why it's so readily available and whatnot. I don't know. It's too much. That's all. I mean, that's the main thing. I understand AI itself. I'm not a fan of AI slop in general, of course, but like simple text generation is kind of useful at times for especially coding. Look, coding is also a profession. It's trained on other people's code. That is another video. I'll discuss that sometime later. The dilemma people have with creative AI work, you know, AI, how do I say it? Taking over creative work and AI taking over technical work. Both are important. Not everyone's creative and not everyone's technical. I mean, people are required for both different types, but I'll make a separate video about that. But there is a kind of obviously a hypocrisy when people deal with both of them. I think one is okay, the other's not. But either way, this thing is not really useful for us right now in this state. It's just made things worse. We've had so many fake profiles being made representing different nationalities, purposely dividing people too. I know Twitter has tried to do this thing of posting locations where their accounts are based, but I don't know how reliable that can be, because I think you can just use a proxy and get around that. Pretty simple. It's just not something that's, I don't know. It's not something useful at the moment, especially image generation and stuff. Coding and stuff, I think there's a place for it at some point. I think it will eventually take over pretty much coding completely, because that is its own language, right? So I expect coding to be basically probably one of the first things that gets sorted by AI, unfortunately, for those who are coding. But everything else, like social media has been ruined. That's like the main thing. Like when we're outside, meeting people, it's kind of nice, that's a person, that's a soul. Whether you like it or not, it's a different topic, but you know who that is, that's something. Maybe in the future that might be a very useful trait, being in person, whatever. Because the internet did connect people, and it was nice for that. The issue happened that it just, well, there are no more people on it, so that's caused problems. Just bots running around. So yeah, next year doesn't look I don't think it's gonna be anything good or anything to be optimistic about. It's just something we kind of have to, get used to. Kind of figure out a reality around this. I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of my take right now about AI and everything. I hope it improves and become less dystopian, helps us out. I'm not sure how it's going to do that. Our computer parts are getting really, really costly now this year, and it's probably going to get worse based on how things are going. But usually when things get tough like this, even against the system, something does pop up, usually happens. It might be something where it won't be a total loss for the AI companies. They will have some gains in whatever new reality is formed. But it's not going to be as crazy as it is right now. That's how I feel. That's how I hope. And usually I do think about other countries, working on this stuff recently, and generally, like competition, globalization as I call it. It might kick in, it might help us out, and it might force these guys to start serving the consumers once again instead of just corporations. So yeah, that's kind of like my mini rant about this topic. Here's hoping that things get better, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.